All right, let's bring you to this now. The Pan-South African Language Board says it is currently collaborating with a search engine Google to develop speech-to-text data sets for the country's previously marginalised official languages. Now, this follows criticism from veteran broadcasters decrying the deterioration in the use of proper language, especially in lifestyle radio broadcast shows. PanSALB has urged the public to report any misinterpretation, abuse or misuse of the official languages. PanSALB CEO Lance Schultz joins me now. Thank you so much for your time on the show, and of course, good afternoon to you. Let's start then with the importance of preserving our languages, especially when you look at the offering that currently exists in the media space on platforms like the public broadcaster, for one.
Firstly, a very good afternoon to you and your viewers, and thank you for having me. I think the first and most important thing is that it really fosters social cohesion. By providing content in the various languages, broadcasters such as yourselves as the public broadcaster can actually help bridge communication gaps between our various linguistic communities. It promotes mutual understanding. I think it promotes empathy. And ultimately, multilingual broadcasting creates a shared media space where we can have diverse voices to be heard and respected. The importance of language learning is quite critical, and I'm glad you are talking about the program that we are doing with Google. One of the biggest problems that we have is that we don't have enough large data sets. We believe that broadcasters, particularly the ones that have got a lot of archives and records, can provide this so that we ensure that we incorporate it. This multilingual broadcasting can then provide an opportunity for language learning and appreciation. And importantly for us also is that audiences can gain exposure to the different languages and cultures, and it will encourage multilingualism and broaden their perspectives within our South African society.
And I want us to talk then about this collaboration with Google to develop the speech-to-text data sets. As you say, there's not enough that is currently being done. I mean, how will that work? And are you then phasing in all official languages? Of course, we've got 11, and most of them are indigenous.
All right, so we mustn't forget South African Sign Language, also as one of our official languages. We believe that once these data sets are actually retrieved and they are coded and decoded and packaged, we will be able to show that this corpus will then reside, particularly with our languages that require revitalization. It will allow storytelling, it will allow news, it will allow entertainment or infotainment, and educational content also that will help keep these languages alive. So particularly also for younger generations who may otherwise have limited exposure to them. So the plea is to make these records available, and as we increase the amount of data, so we will be able to ensure that this corpus will actually be with us. And PanSALB will play a role in terms of the quality assurance to ensure that we look at what data is there and ensure that the dictionaries are there to support this critical body of work also.
And I mean, importantly, you talk, of course, of, that yes, we have now 12 official languages, with the South African Sign Language being recently included. Just in terms of preserving some of the issues that you raised, particularly on cohesion, I would imagine you will be working with a panel of experts to ensure that every language is then represented to the best that possibly can, given the fact that what we are currently seeing now is a lot of people, complaining about the fact that there is misrepresentation at the moment.
Yes, so it's quite important to also explain to your viewers that we use our structures. We've got national language bodies. They provide the advice. They ensure that we have the ear from the communities and also the communities of practice, that these languages are actually recorded and done so in a proper and beneficial manner. The second is we've got national language units. They are responsible for developing these dictionaries and ensuring that the orthography rules is effectively set with it. So I think that in preserving and celebrating this information from communities is important across our multiple languages. The structures that we use also works with within various regions where our geographical linguistic groups actually reside within the country. And that also works to ensure that the technical knowledge as well as the traditional knowledge is all encapsulated as part of this body of work.
One of the interesting comments that was made in our earlier reports when we were, in fact, covering this particular story is that, of course, you know, a lot of new languages, if I can call it that, are coming up using, of course, the traditional forms of communicating. And because you have, you know, your entertainment stations that want to retain as much of what is currently being displayed out there as possible, I mean, how will that be accommodated, do you think? Or do you rather want to use this as an example of, you know, retaining as much as possible in its original format, the languages that are currently spoken in this country, and use them perhaps as an educational tool? But of course, there is that concern that we may not be depicting what some people in an informal setting are currently displaying.
So I think we're quite in tune with it. We have to embrace the fact that with technology and with the change of the modernization in society, that corpus and dictionaries and words and the use of phonics is constantly evolving across all of our languages. In South Africa, the work that we are doing is not only with our official languages, we're also very mindful of the various dialects, as well as the various varieties that we have in the country. And we do want to give emphasis to ensure that we try and preserve and promote all of those as well. So whilst the focus certainly is on all of our official languages, we want to ensure that there's parity of esteem and that there's respect for all of the other varieties and the dialects that I've mentioned earlier on. And what we are trying to do is to ensure that we avert the disaster of losing any of our languages. You may be aware of the work we've done in the Ngu language to ensure that we have got a monolingual dictionary. We've also got a audio dictionary that we are busy preparing to ensure that young people can still be exposed to that language with the last remaining mother tongue speaker. And we have to be in tune, however, with the change and the modernizations of society. And as a result, the work that we are doing also in terms of the quality assurance becomes quite important.
Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Schultz, on the program. Of course, an important topic there that is PanSALB CEO Lance Schultz.